guys, it's Jacob from Stringbuzz here, stringbuzzworld.org being the music journalism site. Links are in the description down below. And we have a brand new song review for you today, and it's the latest track by Chris Brown, and that's Privacy Song. I refer to the original article as I usually do with these videos, so I hope you enjoy. So Chris Brown is one of those polarizing figures in music for many different reasons that I don't really want to get into. When it comes to his tracks, which he actually releases, his actual music, I always find him incredibly inconsistent as an artist. He has the capability to produce incredible vocal performances over very catchy backing instrumentals with tracks like Fine China and many when he first started out on his first debut breakthrough album. But unfortunately, over the last 2 years in particular, I've felt he's sort of re-released the same song about 20 times at this point. So this whole DJ Mustard style instrumental beat is getting a little old for me now, and it was old when it just started up. So should we see what I thought of this brand new track? Well, it's exactly what I described as something I didn't want to really hear. It's like sort of Jeremy / DJ Mustard style backing track with some oversang directionless vocals placed over the top with no regards towards melody. It's genuinely difficult and got difficult to listen to towards the end of the track, since Chris Brown just overuses his falsetto to the point that the entire melody is completely broken up by the end of the track. That and the lyrics genuinely made me feel just a little bit gross. I'm hardly PC or subdued when it comes to lyric writing. I'm not too bothered about lyric writing or the source of lyric writing, as long as it tells a good story, a funny joke, or just something heartfelt, something that stirs anything in any way. But this track is just too overboard for me. I mean, I'd like to repeat some of the things he said in detail here and actually scrutinize them, but I don't want to fall under YouTube's age restrictions. Yeah, that would be a pain in the backside. Let's just say that the lyrics came across as like the XL version of 50 Shades Darker. So yeah, you're sort of getting my point at this stage. Production wise, the bass is just a mess for me. I get that the song is meant to be like an urban slow jam with big bass and lots of concentration put on that low ground in particular, but for me it was just horrible throughout. The sub bass used would often clip and distort, and the tone wasn't very good to start with, and the problem only gets worse and more obvious the louder you crank up the speakers, or the better the speakers you actually put the song through. I actually really like the synth / pad tones used in this mix though, and I like the dreamy texture it created, especially at the start of the track, and it reminded me a lot of some early Miguel type work. But again, in the musicality, it just wasn't utilized, so it slipped into the background of the mix instead of really pumping through in that or driving through that foreground, just pegging up holes in the stereo field and instead of actually being musical, as I've already said. As for the vocals, of course, they sounded ridiculously tampered with, but they weren't horrible compared to the bass. They actually sort of seemed like a godsend in comparison to that bass. Yeah, that bass was bad. When it comes to the musicality of this track, I must admit I was a little disappointed. The first few bars actually started out so well, with this atypical and slightly jazzy progression being fleshed out on those really nice pads I mentioned earlier. But when the vocals and the beat kicked in, suddenly we got this 5-hop / 5-beat weak stabbing rhythm with vocals that came across as if someone was messing around with a recorder, the instrument used to play in like year 2 or something. I get that he's incredibly talented with an excellent range. I've seen that before, but when you sort of use that range every 4 bars or so, it gets dull and repetitive. It should be left for significant moments rather than being constantly reused, otherwise you take away the magic. From that point onwards, you just had a copy and paste track with no decoration or variation at all. The hook is weak, and it took 3 replays of the track for me to even realise it was the actual chorus and not another grouping of wailing notes up and down Chris's register. Lyrically, this track is just too much. I just couldn't care less about hypersexualized lyrics, since that is the pop norm nowadays, and Chris Brown has been doing that shtick for like the last couple of years or so, but this is just graphic in all the wrong ways. It's just too personal for me, and it's seeping with strange preferences and grotty phrases. It doesn't create a particularly sexy vibe or anything like that, rather just creates a very stodgy and gross atmosphere that I don't really want to be a part of. So all in all, not a track I ever see me listening to again, and I have a feeling it will feature somewhere on the worst tracks of the month segment, which should be coming out in the next 4 days or so. So I gave it a G rating of 2.5 out of 10, which is well below average. So if you like this video, then please leave a like, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you around next time. Bye bye.